with precision. This way. Let's not get impatient. Take your time. Okay. Keep up the good work. Don't get ahead
Bye.
of yourself.
Hi there, TheNamesNiko, and today I'm going over my favorite build for Dual Sword Yuki in Season 5, so let's take a look at the build. So the build is Dioscuri, Optical Camouflage Suit, Crystal Tiara, Crate of the Night, White Rhinos, and Aether Fringe. The road is alley, avenue, beach, hotel, forest, or cemetery. Build ID is displayed on screen and is also written in the description. With this build, the point of the build is to contest first meteorite. Since all dual swords have been nerfed over the past few months, you want to switch to Starsteel twin swords as fast as possible. And because of the recipe Dioscuri has, the common twin swords you start with can be used to make Starsteel twin swords from the get-go, making this a perfect starting weapon. Plus, you don't lose any stats when switching to Starsteels. The roading is extremely fast, and you should have everything minus your accessory completed in time for first meteorite, and sometimes you can get your accessory done depending on where first meteorite spawns. For this build, you need to grab one branch pile and one stone pile, which I highly recommend you do in beach, as the stone and branch locations are generally more convenient. You most likely won't run into anyone on beach, but it is possible that you will run into a Lennox, although that generally means they are behind on their build. In hotel, you might run into the usual hotel tree contenders, Lennox, Aya, Barbara, or Magnus. But if you take the loot set by the wolves near the pool, you should not run into anyone, and you also get easy access to the hotel teleporter to head to wherever the first meteorite spawns. Once you have finished your build and gotten the first meteorite, you actually want to head to the second meteorite spawn. This is because you need another meteorite to upgrade your headpiece to Fallen Pegasus. Other than this, you want to farm animals, find people, and contest Omega and Wiccaline. Dual Sword Yuki has really good Wiccaline clear. It used to be better when Divine Dual Swords were the best dual swords with 24% lifesteal, plus the Augment Quench giving 20% lifesteal on Wiccaline, but Dual Sword Yuki still has good burst. You just need to make sure you eat food and back off once you are out of cufflinks and your Q is on cooldown. A good tip with dual swords is once Wiccaline or any other objective like Omega is less than 2000 HP, you want to use Dual Sword Rampage, your weapon skill, on it and save your dash. If someone is approaching you just as you are finishing Wiccaline, use D2 to dash away and then E if needed. Some general advice with Yuki in general: Yuki is a character that does best when you enter a fight, leave, and then re-enter a fight. This is because you do most of your damage on your Q. And once you have used all your cufflinks, which does the second most part of your damage, you want to back off until your Q is back up, or use your W to regenerate your cufflinks. Remember with Yuki that you will regenerate cufflinks when out of combat, so do not waste your W if you know you can avoid fighting for 6 seconds. This generally happens around objectives. Specifically with Dual Sword Yuki, you will rarely, if ever, use your ultimate. Dual Sword Yuki does more damage just by auto-attacking your opponent than using your ultimate. Also, use your weapon skill as a tool to chase after people. I'll expand on this more in the combo section. The skill order for this build is passive, Q, E, W. You don't have to put any points into your ultimate if you don't want to. I used my ultimate once in the gameplay, but this is extremely rare. You can have a stronger early to early mid game if you skip your ultimate. The skill order will be saved so you don't have to worry about memorizing it. The skill order will have your ultimate leveled up at normal ult intervals, but you don't have to level it up if you don't want to. For augments, you'll be running Diamond Shard as your core augment. This augment used to be a lot stronger, but this augment works perfectly with Yuki's kit, specifically Yuki Q. Since Dual Sword Yuki has the damage, the extra defense is a great way to keep you alive for longer. Your sub-blue augments are Cavalcade and Steadfast just so you can live for longer, and your 2 other sub-augments will come from the red tree and are Quench and Stopping Power. This is to help clear animals quicker and for the Omni Siphon against animals, as well as more damage. Some people run Spirit Calling because Yuki has really high SP values, but if you think you can make enough SP drinks, then Stopping Power is better. For food, you want to make steak. With the recent changes to food, steak has become broken in my opinion. As long as you hit a lighter zone, you can always make steak. Just grab 2 lighters while you're in alley, drop or eat the bread since you need the inventory space. Once you're in hotel, kill the wolves by the pool and use the meat on them to make steak. I generally grab the stone pile near these wolves to make the heated stone. For drinks, you want to make hot honey water. Yuki has a lot of SP problems, so having good SP drinks is really important. You can grab honey in alley or avenue, it doesn't matter, and boil one of your waters with the lighters you grabbed in alley to make hot honey water. Remember that you need 1 water for your build, so do not drink one of the waters. Now for your transition items. For your weapon, you want to make Starsteel twin swords. This is a direct upgrade from Dioscuri. You can make Spring and Autumn, but it does not do as much damage as Starsteel twin swords, so unless you're still on Dioscuri, I would not make Spring and Autumn. For the rest of your pieces, it will depend if you're going to remain on critical strike chance or damage or switching to attack power. For your chess piece, you can make Burgundy or Queen of Hearts, but you should switch to Radar if you're going to stay playing Critical Strike Chance Yuki. You need to have at least 60% Critical Strike Chance, and you won't have that if you get off of Optical Camouflage Suit, so keep this in mind. You can also use Mithril Armor. For your headpiece, you should have Fallen Pegasus, but if you're switching over to Attack Power Yuki, then you want Elysian Halo. You can also use Mithril Helm if you're switching over to Attack Power Yuki. For your arm piece, you want Auto Arms, Mithril Shield, or Radar. Critical Strike damage does not matter as much as Critical Strike chance does, so Auto Arms is better than Crate of the Night, even on a crit build. But if you have swapped off your chest piece, you want to be on Radar. For your shoes, you will want to stay on White Rhinos for the healing reduction. With how Yuki plays, unless you are so far ahead that it doesn't matter, you need healing reduction. And for your accessory, you want Emerald Tablet if you are staying on Crit Yuki, but if you are switching over to Attack Power Yuki, you want to switch over to Mithril Quiver. Now for a combo. With Dual Sword Yuki, if you want to fully commit to someone, you want to E if needed for the gap close, then Q, Dual Sword Rampage, Auto, as they run use D2, Auto, and if you didn't use your E originally, E here, then Auto. If this combo does not kill, do not go for it, instead use EQ Auto or Q Auto, E away if needed. If you think you'll be out of combat before you re-engage, just wait, otherwise use W to refill your cufflinks. Then if your E is off cooldown or you didn't use it, you can use the same combo I mentioned originally. 2 Dual Sword Yuki combos should kill most players if you have full cufflink for both rotations. Cufflink damage is extremely important for Dual Sword Yuki because it applies to both autos you do and only costs 1 cufflink. Now that I've explained the build, here's a game showing it in action. Amp Drone Bernice. Okay, this is some spicy tech here. Amp Drone Bernice. Are you playing Amp Bernice? That's something, that's all I can say.
Don't worry. I'll
this.
cheer you on until the end. I'll take my chances.
We got it. Go.
I've assembled something useful. Almost passed this up. Take a deep breath. Anything I need around here?
Like this.
Not totally awful. Useful?
I didn't mean to grab that.
This will be useful.
No oil in this one. Someone must have taken the oil from the set I just looted then.
Anything useful? It's a privilege. I don't feel any better. Take a deep breath.
I'm gonna drop this in beach.
It's been a while since I went for a swim.
Like, beach is like pretty quick.
Gift no one will refuse. This will be useful. Probably. I don't feel any
Honestly, I
better.
don't generally spend my time killing those. Come on.
Anything useful?
We'll have to grab the carbonated water and hotel.
That would be refreshing. This will be useful. Probably. Useful.
Drop that.
I'll be really disappointed if this goes poorly.
Buy my carbonated water game, please.
Must need
Oh, there we go.
Not totally. Watch yourself. I'll be really disappointed if this goes poorly. There must be a few tourists.
Take that. A meteorite is in school.
When I open my eyes, I'll be in a totally different place. Anything useful? Let's think on how to use the restricted areas.
I just want to make one set of food anyway.
Well, I improved a bit at least.
Let me make, oh yeah, Star Steels. The tier list is a little bit out of date. It's from December. A new one will be up soon, in like a couple weeks.
I don't think I'm particularly talented, but I might have made something good here.
But all the lag stuff's up to date. I made sure all the builds were up to date.
You have something to say. Show yourself.
Lag's not D tier? Yeah, she's not D tier. Come on. I need to go finish my build. Now we can go forest.
I'll be in a totally different place.
I know the meme about Lags being the worst character in the game, but she really isn't.
It's a privilege.
There's been a lot of people put Lags as like the best character in the game. I'm like, she's not the best character in the game. You can have this tree, I guess. We gotta go for the second meteor, right? Where is it spawning? Uptown?
There must have been a few tourists.
We can kill this Rio, by the way. Rio, you're kind of done for.
This way. Okay. Keep up the good work. Focus.
Okay.
Looks like someone just died.
Uptown, quickly.
I'll take my chances. Take a deep breath.
Bye, Jackie.
There are still some nice houses. Well, that's just less places to go. With precision.
Okay, I know Nathapon's coming.
Nice for you.
Made me waste my diamond shard though.
Nice for you. Watch yourself.
I gotta go into Nathapon, but he's in a real bad position for me.
It's okay. Looks like someone just died.
He's a
Nice for you.
Let me pull back, dude.
Looks like someone just died. At least there are still some nice houses.
I have to go in Nathapon here because that's his combo.
With precision. Just like your ID code.
He messed up. He can't come back from that.
Over here. Nice for you.
The thing is, he's gonna keep going back and forth until I kill him. So I need to sneak up on him.
That's too bad. Nice for you. Take my chances. Focus.
I was rude for so long.
Nice for you. Let's save this moment. At least there are still some nice houses. Okay, keep up the good work. That's one.
Okay.
Keep up the good work.
Oh no.
Looking good out there, my friend. Confidence. You got this. Looking good out there, my friend.
Well then.
I'll keep this in mint condition. Better catch my breath. Let's think on how to use the
Wait, we
restricted
fought all
areas.
day? Jeez. Jeez. Okay, I didn't realize it was the whole freaking day. That.
Something quite valuable.
What do you have, please? You have some lighters, some of this. And then there was one. Okay, I feel bad for this person, but
yourself. The baddies are gonna keep coming.
If you don't know, using your button up gives you defense increase, so at that point I buttoned up so I wouldn't take as much damage from a Della ult.
Watch yourself.
And I also had a cufflink, so it was a
Who was
double
that?
win.
Faster than I thought.
Okay, I don't really need the lighters to be honest. I have food.
You're cold.
Okay, the thing is I don't have my W.
Take my chance.
Burning hot.
Looks like someone just
I thought I
died.
D-skilled, but I don't have D-skill.
Precision.
They'll burn well.
Okay, well, you misplayed that pretty badly. I'm sorry.
Careful.
Do I have to take my shoes off inside?
Level 6.
You saved me.
You have Myth Helm and a tree. I need Fallen Pegasus. I need the crit. Adele or Lennox.
With precision. I won't let it get you.
This way. Okay. Keep up the good work.
No hard feelings.
All eyes
Okay.
on you now. Be
Oh
careful.
wait, I don't need this. We have 2 trees. I still don't know what to do with it, to be honest.
Let's think on how to use the restricted
Okay,
areas.
well, I guess if you want to say Lennox D tier, there was that.
Focus. Focus. Hard feelings.
Give me this, I guess. Yeah, let me take this. Can I wish I could drop this. Drop this. Put this on
Do I
you.
have to take my shoes off inside?
Okay, jeez. Okay, now what do I do with Foursquare? I could do, ET.
I'll stay in there.
Okay, where is the flower?
It's too bad.
Oh, we need the cards first. So let's go
This way.
Avenue quickly.
When I open my eyes, I'll be in a totally different place.
No one takes playing cards, so it should be in this loot set. Like, we shouldn't have to worry. Then we gotta go back to Uptown.
When I open my eyes, I'll be in a totally different place. I'll stay in there. I'll keep this in mid.
Poor Drum Bernice.
Take my chances.
Yeah, that was actually closer than it should have been, but that's because I ran at him like a mad
I'm
lad.
thinking that with you, I can reach my own goals. The
Because I
last
was
two might be
greeting.
just as strong as you.
Better catch my breath.
It shouldn't be that close. I was trolling.
That's too bad.
Let's
That was
think
just...
on how to use the
If Bernice had a
restricted
real
areas.
augment, I actually would have lost that.
I don't like this. It feels like cheating. That's too bad.
Okay, Camilo's over here, so...
Oh, I bet there's food or useful things here.
This way.
Might have TP'd actually. Do I need heal? Oh, I probably need heal cut actually, instead of Hermes.
Is it okay to swing my sword here?
No, quick. Come back, please.
Hard feelings.
Okay, never mind. I didn't grab this. Hello? Never mind, no one came.
At least there are still some nice houses. With precision. take my chances. I didn't need to do this often.
Okay, well, we don't really want anything with the health kit, so... I guess we just go chapel. We'll drop the VF in the bush because we don't really want anyone else to have it.
I don't practice religion.
Alright.
I feel a bit more at peace here.
Let's not get impatient. Take your time.
I mean, the Camilo in the my fighting, it like works for me.
This way.
I won't let it get messy.
And like the best thing for you to do in this situation.
Take my chances. Down to the last one. You ready?
Focus.
I won't miss.
Come on.
I only need a few minutes.
This way.
Oh, she dodged me. Well
Should I
played.
Say a
But she
prayer?
is dead, by the way. There's no issue. There's no way you win this. Nice wall jump. Nice, nice, nice.
Take my chances.
Nerve-wracking. Let's catch our breath.
I only need a few minutes.
This way.
It's a privilege.
Okay, fine. If you don't want to fight... Okay, let's go. I don't really care, to be honest.
Get ready to fight.
I'd better search elsewhere.
Does it really matter? Do you think you can actually beat me?
Yes. It feels like cheating.
This way.
Focus.
This way.
I won't let it get messy.
You know I have the timer, right? I literally could just timer kill you at this point. But...
I don't like this. It feels like cheating. I only need a few minutes.
Take my chances. Okay?
I don't
Okay.
understand.
Keep up the
I mean,
good
you just
work. One
stalled.
goal.
You stalled for so
Keep it up.
long. There's no way you were gonna win
So,
that. I had to break it to you.
won't luck today.
Because I murdered half the lobby, so there's no way you're gonna win. If you like this guide, please consider giving it a like. It lets me know if you like these types of videos. And if you like Eternal Return as much as I do, consider subscribing. I hope to see you at the next video.